chance to, Lee and Eli are back there as well, so you guys will have a chance to speak with them as well.
You talked a lot about Eli, you know, when you brought him on last year, just, you know, when you brought Eli in last year, you talked, you know, a lot about him and what you saw from him at Arkansas State, but I guess with his, you know, rise, I guess, has happened pretty quickly here to becoming offensive coordinator at Boise State. What have you seen kind of in his path that makes you think he is ready for this?
Well, I think he's exactly what we talk about in this program. You know, he's not come up the easy way. He's been a high school coach. He's been a quality control position at Auburn. He's been on the field at Arkansas State. He's been on the field with me. Here's a guy to me that's really like the first time I met him when I walked back in my office at Arkansas State, and the first guy right in my face is Eli. You know, eager to say, hey, I want to be a part of something. You know, and here's my qualifications, and sitting down with him, the first time I met with him and he went through, hey, this is what we've done here on offense, and he knows and he's spitting it all out. And you can tell when a guy understands what they're doing offensively, and he understands the system, not just what he knows, but the entire thing. I was impressed. And I think he's exactly what we talk about in this program, a guy that works hard, that's blue collar, that's put in the time, that does the little things extra to be great at what he does. And to me, that's why, you know, as we sat there, and I think we've had a relationship. When I sit down and talk to somebody and we talk about football and it's all this imaginary, in the air conversation, I can have it with them. I don't have to get on a board, and we can spit out information to each other. And to me, you know, that's what it's about. That's what being a coordinator is about. And then to watch him when he was a coordinator at Arkansas State, to run the room and be in that room and in difficult situations and good times and all that, and handle it, and to learn. You know, it wasn't perfect at Arkansas State either. You know, it was back and forth, and I think he learned, you know, what my expectations are and how we're going to go about running our offense. He understands that, and then he's going to put his flavor on it, and have a little bit something different. You know, and that's kind of the beauty of it. We have something that we do, but he's got a flavor of his own that he's going to add to it, and really the staff is as well, because now with guys moving around, there's a little bit of a new energy and edge that you have to create, you know, on the offensive side of the ball, and really for everybody, but that kind of happens naturally with the change.
You said that you've obviously been, you know, had a game plan maybe for this moment. So when you brought Drink with you here, when, you know, maybe you guys decided that he was going to be in the box with Mike this last season, was this obviously a next step that you guys envisioned long ago?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think, you know, you kind of know what, as the offensive coordinator here, how things can go. All right, you have a good season. Obviously, it's happened for Mike, and it's happened to some of us in the past too. But yeah, I think you're always trying to, you know, position yourself that you want guys on your staff that are going to have opportunities, and I think that's what guys on the staff want too. Is, hey, if somebody moves on, you know, hey, I'm trying to work myself into a position that I can have a chance to be the coordinator. If I'm a coordinator, I'm trying to work myself into a position to be a head coach. You know, and to me, there's a lot of good coaches out there. There's a lot of qualified coaches, but will they understand what we're trying to do better than Coach Drinkwitz? No. And you know, he has worked, and his understanding of what we're doing, the knowledge of our offense, and being able to sit down, and he could teach every single position on the field and tell them what to do. You know, that's what a coordinator needs to be able to do, and a coordinator that's going to coach the quarterback room, because that's what those guys need to know.
So will Eli call the plays?
Yes. Yep.
How caught off guard? I mean, I know Mike's name's come up for several other openings too. With this being after signing day, you know, obviously a little bit different dilemma there. When did you become aware of this, I guess, and just take us through the process maybe about until you decided to leave?
Yeah, last week, I think on Tuesday, you know, is when I got first. But, you know, obviously his name, you know, in that conversation had been had before this. All right, so there's already been rumblings of, you know, him being interested in some other things, you know, and that's part of it. If that's the case, you know, obviously you're prepared for it, you're thinking about it. So, you know, this wasn't just a 5-day thought process. You know, this has been going on, you know, long before we got here and put everything together. But, you know, even the last month as well, that could be a possibility. So no, I mean, but after signing day, it was on a Tuesday. You know, I got a phone call. Hey, we're interested in talking to Mike, and then it went from there.
Coach, you mentioned that Eli kind of working with a lot of different positions and stuff, taking over the quarterbacks. What is it that, that made you confident that he could handle that responsibility too, and especially in a school like this, obviously it's a pretty high standard too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've coached it. I've been doing that most of my career, and I've played it. And, the one thing about it, there's a lot of coaches. I don't think you have to coach the position you played necessarily. Let's just say that, number one. I know it's happened to be that way here, for a lot of years with the quarterback coaches. But to me, it was his knowledge of, what we're trying to accomplish on the offensive side of the ball. What's the direction? And the thing about Eli that I've always appreciated is every time I've had a conversation about our offense or the direction we're going or what are we doing, he's always got an answer. And it's been right. Hey, we need to do this, we need to do that, or hey, I think we can go here, we can go there. And so, to me, that's the whole point of kind of being a leader of a unit. You have to have a vision and get everybody, all right, to buy into that vision and get them all pointed in the right direction. Well, he's able to do that. He's able to do that with me. And that's why in that room as a quarterback, I've had all sorts of different coaches too, and they didn't all play the position. I wanted to know, hey, what do I need to do? What's the concept calling for me to do? What's the direction you're trying to send me on this particular concept? And then ultimately, what are we doing offensively? And he's able to accomplish that, in my opinion. And then, the nice thing too, in front of my name it does say coach too. I'm involved as well, and I've coached the position, and so I intend to do that, and I've done that, ever since I've been a quarterback coach. That's what I like to do, so I'm involved in that as well. And there's a technical side to it that I've spent a lot of years trying to develop, how we do things. And so, I'll be a part of that as well. I'm in that room, and I was in that room with Mike. I was in that room with Bush. And, that's a position that, I enjoy doing it. I'm going to continue to help out in that position, but I'm not the quarterback coach. Coach Drinkwitz is. I'm just there to help and provide information, and I'm able to do that with a lot of positions, but that one in particular is kind of where I gravitate towards.
How involved were, even when Mike was the offensive coordinator, how involved were you and Eli in the game plan, the build-up, play calling, situational stuff in games? How involved were you guys even then?
Yeah, well, everybody. Everybody has a section of the game plan. All right, and then it's all put together by the entire staff. And so, if you can imagine, everybody does their part throughout the week. We practice it, we see if we like it, we see if we don't, we see if we need to make adjustments to it. And then Wednesday nights, we sit down there and we have this thing we call a ready list, and everybody has their final say. All right, and we go through it and we make corrections to it, or we eliminate plays. We usually don't add, sometimes I do. All right, we're not supposed to, but I have done that. And at that point, it's like, hey, this is the game plan, and everybody's good with it, because the one thing as a coordinator is, all right, not only the second guessing you get from everybody else, but you don't want to have that happen amongst the staff. Like, this is what we're going with. Does everybody sign off on it? Yes. And so that's how our game plan is put together. And so good, bad, ugly, we go into a game, we're all in. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've had success, is because we are all in. And we coach that way, and we teach that way, and we know that, hey, these are the things that we've all decided are our ideas, and this is what's going to be the plays that we use to go out there and win a football game. So everybody's had a part. We wouldn't be successful without Rid, Huff, Junior, Coach Drinkwitz, and Coach Sanford, and myself in that room, and now it'll be no different with Coach Marks being in there and being a part of that as well.
You're obviously looking for a new quarterback and obviously a featured running back, and those are two guys moving in, that are coaches that are moving into new roles at those two key spots. What kind of task is that? What kind of pressure is that on these coaches to not only take over a spot but have to, kind of replace those guys?
Well, I think their expectation level is different now for that room. They're all coming in there kind of on equal ground, coaches and players. To me, it makes sense, really. I think there's a lot to prove. From the coaches that are new and the players that we're trying to replace those positions. So, to me, as far as the energy or the sense of urgency in the two rooms that we really need to establish, all right, who those guys are going to be, well, you got new coaches, you got new faces. So I think that probably works out just right.
Coach, what was it about Lee that you wanted to have him be the running backs coach? And you said he has experience doing that too, and obviously him playing here and all that stuff. Just what was it about him that drew you to want to have him?
Him playing here and being a Bronco, that's a bonus. I don't think we made any decisions based off that because my job is to get A+ people in this program, and I think he's an A+ person. I really do. The way he's operated and run his portion in the weight room, all right, we've gotten better because of that. The way that he's added value to our staff with his personality and who he is, and the way that our guys feel about him on our staff and the way our players feel about him, that was a no-brainer. And then, from a recruiting standpoint as well, I mean, to watch him when families are here and to interact with the recruits on campus and all that, I mean, he did a tremendous job. And then just his hunger throughout this entire time where he's up in my office or in the running back room or around, still just trying to grow his knowledge as a football coach when he didn't really have to. He could have accepted, hey, this is what I'm doing, my role is in the weight room, and he did a great job of it. Never complained about it and was trying to always find ways to get better, but he was always gaining his knowledge, and I saw that firsthand that, hey, this is his passion. And to me, I appreciate those things. That's what I look for in people, and if a guy's got a great work ethic, all right, if he's a good dude and he really wants to do something and he's got a determination, I mean, we can point him in the right direction. And the nice thing is he's got a great room. Coach Riddle did a wonderful job with that group coming back. He's got a great room to go in there. He's going to have to lean on those guys a little bit. And I know our team was fired up, that he's going to be a part of our staff because they know that he cares about them. He's going to push them, and he's going to ask for their very best.